Welcome to How Women Write, the podcast for author entrepreneurs to find inspiration and flow. Get easy to implement 20-minute or less writing and business lessons, plus interviews with relatable and inspiring women to help you create a sustainable writing habit that grows your business and leaves a lasting impact. I'm Jacqueline Fish, former communications consultant, 3-time author, and intuitive writing coach. Let's go. The quiet cost of waiting with your writing. Here's why unfinished work gets heavier and what it actually needs. There's a particular kind of waiting in your writing practice that doesn't look like avoidance, resistance, or quote, writer's block, unquote, in quotations, because writer's block is BS. This kind of waiting looks thoughtful on the outside. It looks like doing the mature, responsible thing. Here's what this kind of waiting sounds like. I just need a little more time. I'll come back to it when things settle down. The world feels so heavy right now. I don't know what to say. I don't know enough yet. I've been journaling and keep circling common themes, but I don't know where to start. Listen, I fully and completely understand. Rewind to fall 2008. I'm back at my management consulting job while my 4-month-old baby boy is at home with a nanny. Looking around the conference room, barely able to mask my pain. The pain of knowing I was in the wrong room. Fall 2009. New room, new country, new job. Same feeling. Except that by now, I was thinking about starting something. In 2008, as a new mom, I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know how to listen. So I waited. What I did? Downloaded all the free PDFs on the internet from the influencer du jour. Spent my lunch breaks rotating between the self-help section of the bookstore and filling out worksheets, trying to find answers to a question I couldn't see clearly. Made lists upon lists about things I could start, afraid of picking the wrong thing. Eventually, in 2012 to be exact, 4 years after that conference room pang, I started something. I wrote about food. I created recipes. I shared recipes my family enjoyed. I told stories about what it was like waking up to what I'd been chewing on in rooms where everyone else thought I was crazy. I worried about offending people, and I did offend some. After years of circling something, I had to begin. It started with a food blog, which turned into stories about working mothers, working motherhood, and lessons on life. I started something, and that something turned into something else. Here's what I discovered after years of listening, teaching, and motivating others to start. Most writers don't quit the work outright. They do something subtler. They wait. Waiting feels harmless, even wise. It's easy to justify waiting when we're making all our decisions from the neck up. But over time, waiting has a cost. And it's not the obvious ones, like fewer pages written or a reserved domain name with just a few scribbled notes. The real cost is relational. Unfinished drafts don't disappear. They linger. They hover in the background of your to-do list. They tap on your shoulder while you're walking out of Target with a cart full of shit you don't need. They wake you up at 2 a.m. with a vague heaviness and a quickening heartbeat. They quietly ask, "Do you still see me?" What writers often label resistance is actually something else entirely. It's grief, fear, or even a nervous system that knows the work can't be rushed, but also can't be ignored. Without a container, the work slowly becomes heavier. Like rolling a snowball, it gets bigger and bigger as it carves a jagged path with each push. A lot of writing advice might tell you to push through this moment. Be more disciplined. Fuck your mood, follow the plan. Get an accountability partner. Set your alarm an hour earlier. But the truth I see again and again is this. Waiting is still a decision. Besides, it's much easier to just go with the flow and have things happen to me than take action that doesn't work out. And over time, that decision can start to feel like self-betrayal. Quiet, persistent. You don't really even know who you are anymore. And how can you write if you don't know who you are? The cost of waiting isn't that the writing disappears, it's that your relationship with it begins to fade. Writers don't need more pressure, even though they'll say that they just need a deadline. What they need is to honor the work, where a draft can take its time and become what it needs to be with attention and flow, not force. That's what the living draft is. Not a writing productivity system to crank out more words. Not a push to finish faster. Write your book in 24 hours. The ads scream at you. A container for staying in relationship with the work that's already calling you. This week, open your drafts. Greet them without judgment. Ask, what do you need from me? Then listen. I hope you truly enjoyed this episode of How Women Write and that you are taking this advice and using it in all the things you are writing for your books and business. I would be over the moon if you can leave a rating, review, or share this episode with someone who you think needs it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.